Բարև թեքյամուշակութային միջան առցանց հաղորդումներով հետևողներ. I will conduct this interview in English because I have a special guest with us, a surprising guest for all of us. So it will be a two-part interview. So let's start, Mr. Danuka. Maybe it was not a real victory for them, but it was a defeat for Armenians. And when you mentioned that Russia did not intervene because Armenia as such was not attacked, that was half true, I guess, I think, because there were some incidents touching Armenia during the war. And after the war, there are incursions in Armenia, and we are talking about 44 square kilometers of Armenia proper land actually occupied, and Russia is not respecting his military cooperation agreement with Armenia. So when Kazakhstan was in trouble, the Armenian troops, 200 of them were there immediately to respect what Armenia signed for. On the other side, that never happened from the Russians, and we don't expect that the other cooperation countries like Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan come into Armenia to rescue Armenia against their brothers, let's say. What do you think about that?
Well, it's how would I like to say, like, we are still in the, like in the storm. So it's not over. So you can't really say that it's, this is the end result, because it's not the end result. Right now, there's a huge geopolitical shift which is happening. And if you look at how independent the Baku administration want to, at least project themselves as, like the providing the what do you call, the gas and oil for Europeans, and trying to maintain a how would I say, not even balanced, but a more of a buyer's relationship with the West will be notified by the Russians. They will really see that, and they try to provoke another conflict when the Russia-Ukraine war was going on. So I'm sure these things will not be gone unnoticed, and whatever is the status quo now is a status quo as of today. It's not the end. It's not the like the finale. So in this, because Caucasus, one thing or two, it's like for thousands of years the borders change, and thousands of years loyalties have changed. So this is a state where there is still things to happen. And if you ask me if whether the rest of the members of the CSTO will come into support of the Armenians, I would say, technically talking, if Armenia proper, let's say the state borders were attacked, they have no choice, they have to come, because it goes without saying that what goes around comes back. So if the same fate will be at for the other members, so, and the Russians are more aggressive in this case, so they will make sure that Armenia proper would be protected because they are a member of this this security pact. How the relationship will evolve with the with Kremlin will change the outcome of this war. Now, I mean, just see how dicey the situation is, that Azari president signs a decree, the Susha Declaration, and the same person after a couple of months sign another change of heart alignment with the Russians. So if you look at the situation, it's not over. Things change. Ground realities change. And but I believe very strongly that the Armenian diaspora has a huge responsibility towards these outcomes. They cannot sit idle. They cannot just like make comments or I mean, they cannot just support online. They have to get involved in this. It's their responsibility too, because there's a huge, very strong Armenian diaspora, and they must come together and try to help their beloved country now. It's time.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that there are big changes in the region, and one of the few things which we witnessed lately is some rising anti-Russian attitudes in Armenia because of their lack of support, real support, military support. And the other thing is there is lots of back and forth visits from the Western side of the world, French, Americans, and high-ranking officers visiting Armenia and negotiating, I don't know what, some strategies. And on the other side, nobody is supporting any self-determination of Artsakh people. So you mentioned that there is lots of activity. Is it positive to Armenia's positions?
First of all, I think I mean, being diplomatic with any country is pretty much good, because there's a diaspora in France and many in many European capitals. There's pro-Armenian sentiments, but I mean, there's a case study that's happening right at the border of Europe. Europeans wholeheartedly support Ukraine, but see what's happening in Ukraine. So they will the Europeans or the NATO will not send their armies to or to they will not fight on behalf of Ukrainians. So uh, that's your case study. I think I can answer that question very easily. I mean, you can have any negotiations, any understanding with Europeans. That's fine. You have to be diplomatic, but the protector state, I mean, I don't want to sound like a pro-Russian, but if you look at your own space, you're in a place where you need to keep your loyalty because of this conflict, and you can still maintain good relationship with others. I mean, now look at Israel. Israel, they are, I mean, 100% pro-American. They have a military agreement and all that. At the same time, they coordinate their activities with the Russians, with the Saudis, with the others. So
the Arabs recently, yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, the Armenians should be very diplomatic in this. They should get the help. They should get more. How would I say, if there's new technology, new markets for their products, new jobs, new education systems, whichever is for their state development, they must go for Europe. They must embrace that. But for their security,
for example, arms development, will Russians let us develop our arms to defend ourselves, or they will not?
Well, you saw Armenia is already producing their own drones. I mean, this one company I saw, it was very amazing how all of a sudden these new technologies come. So I mean, realistically talking, as long as you're not going to be a major exporter competing with the Russians, I think there'll be no issue in developing in on your industries by the Russians. So what you have to understand is like pick your battles wisely. You don't have to produce tanks and artillery and AK-47s, which are the Russians are selling in masses. But probably the Russian military industry is lagging behind in the drone technology, for example. So Armenians are brilliant mind people all around the world. There are brilliant engineers, brilliant technocrats. I mean, they have to develop this industry and probably support the CSTO as a drone force. So that will enhance their position. I mean, that's how you have to select wisely what you have to invest your time and energy on. Probably, I think this drone industry is going very well in Armenia, if I'm not mistaken. At least it has taken ground, and there are some promising technology that is happening, and the diaspora can help. So if they become the drone force of the CSTO, for example, the Russians will wholeheartedly help them. They'll give the flank to guard the flanks. So you need to pick your battles, and you need to be manipulative when it is necessary, and you need to be diplomatic. But you must look at your own history from day one to now. Who has abandoned you? Who has been there with you? Who has and what has caused the change of loyalties time and again? And look at Ukraine as a classic example of the limitations of the West, limitations of the NATO. So when you realize the ground facts, when you realize what is the reality, I think you can probably have a realistic view of how to live. I understand the Armenian population must be very angry towards the loss of land, and they must hold Russians responsible. They need to blame somebody to, to get rid of this feeling. I understand that, but uh, being sentimental is one thing, but being realistic is a complete different thing. So that's why I said it's important to understand the ground and change your plans accordingly. You have proved to be a resilient nation. You have proved to stand against. I mean, imagine from Parthians to everybody walked through this land for thousands of years, and you survived and you thrived. So I think that it's in your blood. So you need to be realistic. That's what I think.
Yeah. Uh, what do you think about the Minsk group? Will it exist or it is done? Like the Russians are being boycotted everywhere, other than the Minsk group, and the Russians themselves are putting themselves out of the equation. What is the future of the Minsk group?
Well, I would say, well, we can agree to disagree if you say Russians are being ignored or being booed out. Because if you look at the world right now, there's G7, which has been the powerful bloc, and there's BRICS, which are the real game changer. And if you look at the BRICS, like the economic parity and the population is everything in this part of the game. And Shanghai Group, there are numerous cooperative agreements between the south part of the world. So the southern hemisphere is getting together, the east is getting together. So how I see it is, Russia is sidelined by the West, but West is not the entire world. There are millions and billions of others that is not in the West. So Minsk group, I mean, Russians will try to hold on to wherever they have a public face. And again, about the conflict with Ukraine and this Russian status quo, we cannot say that it's the end, it's not the finale, it's going on. So if you look at the world economical collapses and social issues right now, what you have to understand is that you cannot just ignore Russia and live. They will have to be a part of the world. So
what is Minsk group? Continues or it's the past?
Well, Minsk group will be activated at the proper timing. So maybe right now it's a thing of that is in existence because
Stagnant.
there is no relevance for it right now. But when the relevance comes, it will take its place.
All
It's
right.
not.
Now we are talking about opening the transportation venues, routes, and so on. And the latest is opening the border with Turkey. Uh, do you see that dangerous to Armenia or not? Because we have two extreme views amongst ourselves. This is one case of non-unity in Armenians. Some people see real danger in doing that, and some people see real progress where we have access to the Mediterranean. The Iranian access will be much easier and shorter in terms of communication. Yes, we will give access to the Azeris from the Syunik region to Nakhichevan. What do you see? Is that dangerous? Will Armenia become a Turkic country because of that opening of transportation routes?
Well, I think this is a golden opportunity in many ways because right now there is a huge demand for transport corridors. And Armenia lies right at the center of many crossroads. I mean, if you look at the latest transit from India to Iran to Russia, I mean, the trade route is a very important one. So Armenia could make great use of this to connect the Azari proper with its exclave, as well as bringing the Turkey's part of the trade route through Armenia proper. They must retain control. The most important thing in this is strong agreements, very strong inter treaties, and taxation. Because I mean, what's the point of building a road and making no leverage of it? They have to make an artery of roads, and Armenians should control them. They have to have the sole authority. If they wish to close it, they should be able to close it, because if they think it's a strategically they are going to have an issue, they should be close it without notice, or I mean, they have to have that leverage. And what will happen is, if you look at any transport corridor, any trade route running towards countries, eventually there'll be more cultural exchanges, there'll be more economic activities. So Armenia could really make use of it as a way to connect Iran, Turkey, Azerbaijan, all these places. But they must take leverage, they must have their control, and they must have the sovereignty, and they
Yes.
must emerge as the power that controls its trade route, and they have to promote it. And one more thing, since this has nothing to do with your question, so this was something really disturbing for me, because if you look at the Armenian genocide, until now it's only 31 countries who have publicly acknowledged it. And I have a request from the diaspora and people who are watching your channel. Uh, I mean, you have to make awareness in other countries. There are thousands and millions of people who are supporting Armenia, although you have no idea about it. I mean, Sri Lanka is thousands of miles away, but there's a Catholic community, there's a community who are very supportive of the Armenians, and there could be, millions of Indians who are supporting Armenians. There's so much of support for you in Asia. So bring this issue and make it your case. And probably you will have to change the terms how you define it, maybe, but still you have to make sure that this is heard. The thousands of people who went on that death march, do a justice for them. You need to hear their voice. It's not fair that they died in the gorges long years ago. You need
Well,
to fight.
the
You need to have
problem
that
is we
voice.
don't have communities there over there, but I guess we can exploit people like you, uh, strongly attached to our interests. We have collaborators as you. That might help, and that's a call you're making, that we should go to the other side of the world where
You're
our
welcome there. You're
yeah,
warmly welcome in Asia.
yeah, this is appreciated. And uh, my last question, we fear that we might witness a situation like in Georgia, where Turkey has a strong economic presence. Even though their country is an economic mess, they are strongly, they have a strong foothold in Georgia, in the Azerbaijan, and in the construction, heavy construction business. They are fully integrated and they dominate those markets. Will Armenia uh, be protected? I think we need strong legislation to protect us from such an invasion. Otherwise, we'll be 2, 3 million against over almost 80 million people on one side. We're a small pawn for that economic invasion. And maybe we fear also demographic invasion. Is that a good a feeling which is to be considered, or it's a complete negative approach?
Well, if you look at the Turkish dominance in the building construction industry, it's not Georgia and Azerbaijan per se. They are very strong in Russia. They are very strong in Germany. In many parts of the world, the Turkish construction industry is a very established one. And I wouldn't say that wherever they are a minority, they are going to topple down a government or anything. But all you have to worry is how many local jobs will be created by this, by attracting in this industry. And like you precisely said, the legislators should support, uh, to collect proper taxes, to have proper rules, regulations, and to give as many as labor and non-labor jobs for your population. So the benefit should be reaped by the Armenians themselves. So you have to have laws towards that, and like somehow minimize corruption, and stop manipulations. And if you look at the demographies, I don't think an industry could change demographies unless there's like thousands of settlers who will come to make a road or construct a nuclear plant, and they your government allows them to settle down with their families. But I don't think an industry will let that happen. But there will be a cultural influence which is undeniable. You cannot really stop that, because right now with the information era, the culture spreads so fast. So you don't really need to have a physical presence to influence another country's culture. So I think the Armenians, with the brains, they need to be more, how would I say, they have to fine tune the situations, analyze it, and use it for their own advantage. So money coming in from Turkey, Azerbaijan, or it doesn't matter from where, it has to be channeled towards the people's prosperity. And there should be a control so that these actors cannot, manipulate your stock market, for example, and manipulate people's sentiments. So Armenians should stay together, united, and steer towards their country's
There is
great strength. And please, they have to remember they ruled once from Caspian to Mediterranean to Black Sea. They were a great empire. So you have to know who you were, and it's very important.
Danuka, I will terminate this interview. I hope, if you accept, to have another interview with you to elaborate further topics which I have in mind, and you are well versed in it. I thank you very much, my dear Sri Lankan friend, and I hope to have such interviews from your other colleagues in Sri Lanka, which are willing to join us in podcasts. So I will terminate now, and I will let you have the last word.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was a great thing to reach out to your community, and it was, I mean, I knew the Armenians were very nice, warm people, and first time I ever interacted. And we are very supportive of your cause, and we are very much alike. If you look at how our nations have survived, we're very unique. So, if we are a brotherly nation, we would like to stand by you. At your troubled times and good times. And so, my last message for the Armenians living, the diasporas living in many countries, support your beautiful country to strengthen it and to make it a great place for every Armenians. And you're not alone. Millions of people are with you, and we see your fight, and we are very proud of your resilient nation. And thank you, Artus, for this lovely meeting. And I hope to continue with this channel a few more times, of course. Yes.
Thank you very much, Danuka. Have a good day.